Hi everyone, welcome back. Iron stock just wrapped up another eventful week and it's time to take a closer look at what's been going on. On Friday, the stock closed at $50.46, up $3.44 or about 7.3% on the day, and then gained another 42 cents in after-hours trading. This marks the first time IREN has decisively closed above the psychological $50 barrier and is an important milestone for the company's ongoing transformation. In this video, we're going to go over what drove the stock surge, why the breakout above $50 matters, and what catalysts investors should be watching as we head into a new week. Less than 2 weeks ago, IREN was trading in the low 40s after a rough Friday sell-off of 9.5%. It rebounded nearly 10% the following Monday, added another 2% on Tuesday, and by the end of this week had blasted through resistance to close above 50. That's not random noise. It's a sequence of buyers stepping in at support, shorts covering, momentum players re-entering, and the broader market reaffirming the bullish narrative. Closing above 50 is more than just a round number. In technical terms, psychological levels act as resistance until they're broken. When a stock with strong fundamentals closes decisively above such a level, it often signals that a new wave of buyers is coming in and that prior sellers are out of the way. This kind of price action can kick off the next stage of an uptrend. The move above $50 wasn't triggered by a single headline. Instead, it reflects a series of positive developments that have been building for weeks and the market's gradual recognition of those changes. At the core is IREN's pivot from being primarily a Bitcoin miner to becoming a serious AI infrastructure provider. Management has doubled its AI cloud GPU fleet to roughly 23,000 units by placing major orders for NVIDIA's latest B200B300 Blackwell chips as well as AMD's MI350XS. These chips are in the process of being installed and energized across IREN's data centers. The company is targeting over $500 million in annualized run rate revenue from its AI cloud segment by the first quarter of 2026. Being a NVIDIA preferred partner gives it priority access to scarce GPUs, which reassures enterprise customers and differentiates it from competitors who are still scrambling for supply. At the same time, the Bitcoin mining business remains a reliable cash generator. In August alone, IREN mined 668 Bitcoin, producing around $50 million in hardware profit. That steady cash flow helps finance the AI build-out with minimal dilution. The company also secured $200 million in non-dilutive financing to support its growth plans. Together these moves create a dual engine, steady mining profits and a hyper-growth AI segment. This combination allows investors to view IREN not as a one-dimensional miner but as a hybrid infrastructure play with cash flow support and upside potential. Analysts have been taking notice. Bernstein recently reiterated a $75 price target, framing IREN as one of the purest plays on the shortage of high-end GPUs for artificial intelligence workloads. Arete Research initiated coverage with a buy rating, highlighting the company's unique positioning. These bullish reports are circulating widely in financial media and on social platforms, reinforcing the idea that IREN is in the midst of a re-rating from crypto miner to AI cloud leader. When high-profile analysts publish positive calls on a name, it can attract new institutional money and momentum traders. That influx of capital often pushes the stock through resistance levels just like we saw with the $50 mark. There's also a technical and psychological dimension at work. Short interest in IREN is still estimated around 10 to 12% of the float. When a stock rallies sharply and breaks to new highs, shorts can be forced to cover, which adds fuel to the move. Options markets have also been leaning bullish with heavy call buying. As the stock rises, market makers adjust their hedges by buying shares, which can further accelerate the rally. These positioning dynamics are powerful drivers of price once a breakout starts. The broader environment has been supportive. The Federal Reserve recently cut rates by a quarter point and signaled as much as 3/4 of a point in additional cuts this year. Lower rates generally boost risk assets, and names like IREN that are perceived as growth stories can benefit disproportionately. At the same time, sentiment around artificial intelligence infrastructure remains strong. NVIDIA continues to beat expectations. Hyperscalers are spending heavily on GPUs. Every headline about AI demand reinforces the scarcity narrative that underpins IREN's AI cloud thesis. Even Bitcoin has been relatively stable, which supports the mining side of the business. Breaking above $50 doesn't mean the stock will go straight up in a straight line. Volatility will remain high. But it does shift the technical picture. What was once resistance may now act as support. If IREN can hold above 50 on a retest, it could open the door to the $60 to $75 range that Bernstein is targeting. Traders will be watching volume closely. Sustained volume above 50 would confirm institutional buying. For long-term investors, the key is to focus on execution and fundamentals rather than day-to-day fluctuations. Execution risk is real. Owning 23,000 GPUs is one thing. Monetizing them at high utilization rates with paying customers is another. Power costs and grid stability are also critical. Running that many GPUs requires enormous, reliable energy supplies. Any disruptions or cost increases could pressure margins. Valuation is always a risk. Even after Friday's move, the stock is up massively year-to-date and trades at a premium to traditional miners. If sentiment shifts or the broader market sells off, pullbacks can be swift. But these risks are the flip side of opportunity. The upside remains enormous if IREN executes. The dual-engine model of mining plus AI cloud gives it cash flow support and a hypergrowth segment at the same time. If management delivers even close to that 500 million ARR target by 2026, today's prices could still look cheap. As we head into a new week, the breakout above $50 offers several things to watch. First, does 50 become a new support level? If the stock holds that level on a retest, it could become the base for a move towards 60 or 75. Second, watch for updates on GPU deployments and customer contracts for the AI cloud segment. These are the catalysts that can justify higher valuations. Third, monthly mining numbers can provide insight into cash flow and operational health. Fourth, additional analyst revisions, whether upgrades or new initiations, can move the stock. Finally, keep an eye on how macro trends in AI spending and crypto markets affect sentiment around IREN. This breakout above $50 is a milestone in IREN's journey from crypto miner to AI infrastructure leader. It signals that investors are willing to pay up for the company's growth story and that the market is starting to value it differently. With fundamentals intact and momentum on its side, IREN could be poised for the next leg higher if execution stays on track. The after-hours gain on Friday, while small, is a sign that buyers remain interested even after a big move. It reinforces the idea that the breakout is being validated rather than immediately faded. Looking forward, the question is whether IREN can build on this strength. If support holds and positive news continues, the stock could quickly test higher levels. If resistance pushes back or execution falters, it may need to consolidate before making another attempt. Either way, the story has changed. Investors are no longer looking at IREN as just a volatile miner. They're looking at it as an AI infrastructure company with a unique dual-engine model, scarce GPU capacity, and a credible path to large recurring revenues. That's why breaking $50 matters. It's not just a number. It's a signal that the market believes in the transformation and is willing to price the stock accordingly. It's also a moment for investors to reassess their own view. Is this a trade on momentum or a long-term bet on AI infrastructure? By laying out the fundamentals, the catalysts, and the technical picture, you can help your audience make that decision. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment with your thoughts. Do you think this breakout above 50 is the start of a sustained rally, or just a temporary spike? Understanding the fundamentals and the catalysts behind the move will help you make better decisions as this story unfolds.